Okay, welcome back to Wild Mountain Lodge, my sandbox build here in Planet Zoo. So today's going to be a little bit different. Today's going to be some real-time building instead of the speed build that I was doing. I want to do this because, well, I want to go ahead and get this video out, but what I was building was just not working. I was trying to put in the wolf enclosures. I like what I have, but I don't like what I have, and it's just not good enough to put out there as what I want to have on the channel, so those are going to have to get redone completely. What I'm going to do today is build out our big barn. So I'm basing this loosely off of what's called, it is called the Moulton Barn. Yeah, Moulton Barn. It's in Grand Teton National Park in the western United States. It's one of the historic barns on Mormon Road there in the park. I want to say it was probably built in the 1800s. Very classic barn. I was originally going to use a barn based off that from the workshop. However, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and build my own just because I want something that's a little bit more customized to my needs here. So I'm using the log wall set. I wish we had a vertical, or actually a horizontal version of this, but we don't. That's alright. So this is going to be a really big structure. It's going to be probably end up being almost as big as the lodge. Want this to be big enough to serve as a multi-species shelter, so the bison pronghorn shelter is going to be in here. We'll separate off a couple of different paddocks for them, and then on the other side, okay, if I would actually just duplicate this, it would be a lot easier than actually building each side. There we go. So on the other side is going to be our llama and Bactrian camel habitat. So the llamas and then the Bactrian camels. So this is it's meant to be the barn that would have been here during the game farm days. Still on the property, be a historic structure that we would want to preserve. Okay, so I think that's our footprint here. Would have served as kind of the shelter and the kind of the central hub of where the domestic hoofstock would have been. I'll move this out. Of course, we don't have domestic horses in this game. We have zebras, but they'll be going in the African section. Would have originally been probably housed up here. We'll put in a few of the old, put in some of the old paddocks as well that would have been around here. And then the larger pastures now for the llamas and the Bactrian camel. Man, I just cannot keep my train of thought today. I do apologize for that. It's probably really annoying to listen to. Okay, we'll go with 3. So I want this barn to have a really classic roofline to it. Let's get this all built in here, which will come out in just a moment. So we have these flatter wings and then our steeper peak. I think this is going to work out. I want the 2 meter at this point. Yeah, this is already going much better than the attempt at building the wolf area. When in doubt, if build's not coming along, just pause, do something else for a little while, and then come back to it. You know, I bet probably when I go back and actually try to finish the wolf area, which I'm probably going to rip out just about everything that I've done, it'll probably come together really quickly and be a lot better. So that's my philosophy for that. If it's not working, you can keep trying, and it's still not coming together, just take a break, work on something else. There we go. So that is starting to look how I want it to look. This in here. And get these moved back over. For some reason, when you're duplicating or moving a group of gridded objects, they don't always want to snap to the correct snap points. That. And like that. And then our walls in here. So it's supposed to be an old, weathered looking building. I'm going to use the same slate roof that we used on the lodge that I've been using on the other buildings. This little staff building is still here. Find another place for it. I want to get the slate roof in. Just like this. And then I'm just going to duplicate it across on the other side. There we go. And then the 4-meter section here. So this barn is quite a bit longer than the original that I'm in the reference photos that I'm working off of. But like I said, I want it to be big enough to accommodate quite a few animals. 2 meter. That's what I'm looking for, the 2 meter. Don't see too many of these historic old barns around anymore, unfortunately, especially out here where I'm at. The warming of our weather out here in California is wreaking havoc on the old wood. It's drying it out, and a lot of them are getting... The ones that are still around, they're either falling down or they're getting scavenged for the barn wood, because that's like a really popular kind of At least it was really popular when the shabby chic thing was like a big thing, you know, reclaimed barn wood. But a lot of these structures just aren't around anymore. Let's see. A lot of them were built by the original homesteaders. So there's a lot of historic value to them. Okay, let's see here. That like that. And I'll open up the other side. I do want to wait for the animals to go in. I think the bison will fit through that. I hope they'll fit through that. Oh, let's see here. Barriers. Let's find out if they will fit through that. gonna run some barriers through the middle here. Eventually I'll replace that with some actual stall walls, but we'll build off a little paddock over here. You would have various like lockout areas, paddocks, separate paddocks where you can separate off animals if you need to for whatever reason. Say they need medical care or they're recovering from an injury or something, and you just need to separate them off from the main herd. Or with bison, you need to do some maintenance out here and you maybe don't want the bison actually in, or to be in with them. Okay, so they can't fit. Great. So that is a function of the hitboxes in Planet Zoo, because I understand why they're set up the way they are, but it still makes it rather difficult for this. It's, from what I've read, the animal, it has to basically be as wide as the animal is long, because they have to be able to turn around inside the hitbox for the animations to work correctly. Okay, so now that works, and why is there an escape point? There's no escape point here. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's see if that fixed. Okay, no more escape point. I have no idea why the game did that. Just whatever weirdness that just is the joy of Planet Zoo sometimes. Okay, the Pronghorn can go through those doors. Okay, so that works. So now they have access to their hard shelter. So now here on the inside, continue with building this out. So I'm going to go with our 2-meter wall in here. And let's see, I think, yeah, we'll do a row of what would have been stalls, but we would have opened them up a little bit. To be just larger enclosed spaces for the animals. So this will be what would be the Pronghorn side. Bring them in, and then over here would be the bison side if we need to separate them out for whatever reason. They can go in here, they can all come in here and use this. So now that I have this in here, I'm actually going to replace this part of the barrier with the null barriers, because running the chain link through here was just proof of concept to make sure that they could actually get in here. But now that they can, I'll just go ahead and push this back here. This may be a good spot to put an educator talk in here, so I think I'll make this so that the guests can walk in and see the interior of the old barn. There. Okay, so the barrier is in where it belongs. I'm gonna fix the terrain in here, because if it's a consistently indoor area, there wouldn't be any grass growing. Also, if it's an area where animals are going to be congregating, there wouldn't be any grass growing. So the whole interior of the barn can just be dirt floor, at least for now. Get that all fixed up. And just get the terrain dealt with here. Okay, and then there's going to be some custom fencing in here that I'm going to be doing with our log pieces, and then going back to my favorite South America pack beams. Let's see, I think that will work, and I'm just kind of putting them out here so that I have them. So that way I can just, as I'm going and building, I can just, instead of going back into the construction menu constantly, I can just grab whichever beam or log piece I want and drop it in and just duplicate it. Let's see, so I think we're going to use some of the climbable structures too. Let's see, we have our thin. Yeah, we'll probably go ahead and use some of the climbable pieces here. Let's see here, I think I want to do round posts on this. So I want this to look like an old rustic fence. A couple of pieces will be falling down a little bit. And I want this fence here to be fairly sturdy because bison are behind it. Even though we do have the chain link, I think at this point a more rustic kind of natural fence will look better here. And kind of get rid of some of the this fencing and make it look a little bit better. Never been a huge fan of the in-game barriers. I think I want to go up a little bit higher on this. This is also a pronghorn fence, and they are capable of jumping, even though they don't in the game. And anytime you're doing a fence like this, when you're gonna duplicate it across a large area, you're not just doing one section. Don't build both posts, because you're just gonna slide the duplicated piece across. This will save you on the piece count. I'm just gonna get this in here, just at this front section here. I think I'll probably go around the back with this fencing as well. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And leave the chain link in there just as a little bit of, I don't know, child-proofing. That way little Timmy doesn't go have adventures with the bison. Sneak in there when mom's not looking and get launched through the air. swap this to the shorter, the 2-meter beam. I was hoping the color would come across. Give it a longer one. There we go, that looks pretty decent. Okay, now I want to take a look at the interior of the barn in here. So what I want to do is a post and beam interior. So there's going to be... Oh, I missed a piece on the roof. Fix that. Try that again. These dead clicks sometimes are just getting really annoying. So I want to have this post and beam interior, so there's going to be lots of internal supports in here. This is going to take a little bit to build out. I think this... Yeah, this beam is going to work. We'll color that the same dark brown that we've been using. Sticking to the roof, I don't want that, so it's just under. We're gonna have to do custom rafters in here as well. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go into a speed build, finish out the interior of the barn, and then I will bring you back when I am finished. Welcome back. So, the barn is basically complete at this point. Got the interior done up. I don't have the rafters done in yet. Just wasn't feeling all that repetition. Got these awesome little tractors off of the workshop. They fit in here great. Got some pallet stacks. I apologize if you can hear that in the background. That is my cat, who thinks I'm talking to her right now. Got the signs in here. This is a ricey sign. Replace the giraffe with the bison. Some of these shelves, backstage props off the work shelf. I'm still debating whether or not to put a guest path in here. So these wheelbarrows are actually not from the workshop. They are found in the construction tab. They're in the classic set. You can recolor them. Super useful if you want to build detailed backstage. The forks and whatnot are from Bongo Hardwood. Got some transport vehicles here at the back. And we've got our little smaller corrals here, which the Pronghorn are actually using. That's fantastic. And the bison are using their run-in shelter. So, quite successful. Feel this is much more successful than what I was already trying to do before. Next up, I think I'm not going to worry too much about what I've got going on over there. I'm going to rethink that whole area. Next up is going to be the llamas and the Bactrian camels. We'll get this area finished out and then start on the next section. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like, drop a comment down below, let me know what you think. If you see anything, any thoughts, anything like that, I always appreciate it. Try to get back to everybody. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe, and if you would like to be notified when I post a new video, which right now is Sundays and Wednesdays, hit the bell notification. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you in the next one.